Hey there, how you doing? You're going, well, wait a minute. I'm looking at my watch. Weren't you supposed to start a few minutes ago? Yes,
Hey,
I
what's up,
was.
Dave? Fennoy? I didn't even have
Ah,
a watch on.
well, yeah, I don't have a watch. I never wear a watch. But a little technical difficulty. The technical was me. I didn't hit the start button, so it didn't start. But here we are now. So hello,
That's
please pop in and say hello. And
entertainment.
it was the fact that nobody was popping in to say hello that let me know that wait a minute, nobody's here. So I'm going to repeat a bunch of things that I said to nobody to you now. First of all, thanks for stopping by. I want to let you know that if you've been to my website, especially a few months ago, there's some things that weren't working quite right. Well, all that has changed, and by the end of the week, we will have a new davefennoy.com. It will look very much the same. It will function so much better. So if you want to find out things about me, if you want to take classes with me, visit davefennoy.com. And for classes, just click the Study VO tab at the top. Um, also, Twitter, if it's still Twitter, it's supposed to be X now. Who knows what Elon Musk is up to? But I have my new Twitter account because I was hacked before at Dave Fennoy VO. And all the Ask Dave Fennoy Anythings live on my YouTube channel, Dave Fennoy Voiceover Training, as will this one. Now, last week, you recall, I was talking about L.C. Brodus and her son. She'd had some health difficulties and had fallen behind in her rent and was on the verge of being evicted. We've done a couple of things. One, a GoFundMe, and also I did a class on Monday. Thank you, NAVA, the National Association of Voice Actors, who joined with me to help her out. It was script analysis, and just in that class, we were able to make about $2,400, and I think the GoFundMe has made as much, maybe a little more, not sure of all the numbers yet. We're close to getting her over the top, but I want you, if you can, $5, $10, $25, whatever you can afford to help out one of our fellow voice actors in her time of need, and her son, who is about to go in his senior year after the summer, and they don't want to disturb their life. They want him to be able to just stay on his path and not have to change up this and change up that or live in a car or whatever might happen. But the GoFundMe is right there. You know what to do. Take your phone, camera, click. Just a few dollars will help. Many hands make light work, and many hands also from many bank accounts can help somebody out. So I hope you will help LC, and we'll know by next Wednesday's Ask Dave Fennoy Anything if we have reached that goal. I hope we will. All right, enough of that. Let's get right to it here. My guest, Melique Berger, ladies and gentlemen. Woo-hoo-hoo. Now,
Hi, Dave.
hi, and we're kind of having this
Hi.
conversation a second time as we
A
started.
second time. Yes, yes.
Before we went on, and even before the false start, Malik was saying, I can tell you exactly when we met. It was 2009. We were at Sony auditioning for something. And my brain is never that good. I don't remember things that well. God bless you for remembering,
Oh, it
Malik.
was a big day. It was a big day.
Yeah. And, but we've known each other for a long time. I knew that.
Yes.
And we've worked together on some things. But one of the best things about doing this is I've got a lot of friends in the voiceover business who I know some of the things they've done. But when you are going to interview somebody, you do a little bit of a deep dive and you find out some things that you might not have known. And one of those things I found out, and this has nothing to do with voiceover, is you present yourself as a queer Black Jewish powerhouse of the VO industry. And
Because that's who I am. Amen.
baby, that's
Yes.
bold.
Thank
And
you. Thank
when
you.
we were talking there, you said you were calling yourself that, except for the voiceover industry part, since you were 13
Hmm.
years old.
Yeah, I knew earlier sometimes when we develop, I was raised in Hollywood. My mother was a theater producer before she became a very big commercial agent, so I was literally raised at the Matrix and Zephyr theaters on Melrose. And I got to watch productions happen from, casting to building the sets to making the costumes, and I was cutting gels and fixing Lecos, when I was a kid. And I was exposed to a lot of LGBTQ people. And I understood it. And my mother never approached anything different with me if
Mm-hmm.
this person was with this person or this is who we love. So I come from a single mom that raised a black daughter in the 70s with a Jewish family. And, we knew I was very talented, very young.
Yeah.
So to me, when I came out, um, there were labels back then. It wasn't the world that it is today.
Thank
And if you
goodness the
liked
world has
boys,
changed.
right? If you liked boys and you liked girls, you had to figure out something, but there really wasn't a class yet for being bi. So to me, I just kind of I did some juggling, and I was always very open. I went to performing arts schools. I was the first class at Bancroft Junior High School's Performing Arts Magnet where I was invited to join. Um, Third grade, I was already working. By fourth grade, I got my first scholarship to the Alfan Theatrical Ensemble, singing the Laverne and Shirley theme song. So that was great. That worked. By fifth grade, I was playing the flute with James Galway and the Los Angeles Philharmonic in a piece by John Corigliano. And I was just on my way. And then there was ballet. I danced for Panayev by six, seven, eight, nine. By 13, I was dancing with LA Ballet and Dupre, and I was just always performing.
Yeah.
So I really felt that being who I was, there was really nothing to hide.
Yeah.
There just wasn't. I
Well,
come from an environment of love.
good for you, especially to be so brave, so young, in a world that wasn't nearly as accepting as most of the world is now. I also had a theater background. I, I did theater, also played football and ran track and did all those things. So I was aware of and knew of gay people. My mom had a guy who, at the time, I didn't know from gay. I just knew,
Hmm.
we would call him, well, he's a little funny, he's different, but you didn't care. And
Yeah.
being in theater, you realized at some point, oh, a lot of these people are gay. Um, I actually think it's a good thing in society that people are out, that we know it, that they can say who they are. And uh, I've heard people, well, I don't want my kids to, have to deal with the fact of gayness or this, that, and the other. And I'm like, well, if your kids just saw it and you said, oh yeah, that two moms there, two dads over there,
Right.
then
Right.
it's not a thing. Then it's not a
It's
thing.
really
It's
not.
just something that happens, and it is something that happens. We need to all get over it,
Very
and
true.
just
Very
need to
true.
all
And
to get over it.
especially now in the places we are, my husband Jay is a transgender male, and we deal with a lot. Jay's from Wales, and he would not have been able to get the medical treatment that he needs if he was still in Wales. Like, we're
Well,
here in Los Angeles where we have so much support, and it's amazing. And it's wonderful. It's a
yeah,
wonderful thing.
and I bet the
So that just
toughest
kind of
thing between you two in that relationship is understanding that accent
understanding that
from
accent. No, the
Wales.
best is me not being able to get it. I'm like, I try, and he's just like, nope, you don't got it. Nope,
Yeah.
nope. And so yeah, he's got me beat on that. He's got me
All
beat
right.
on that.
Well, let's talk voiceover here and acting. And
Let's.
you've been doing this since you were a child. How long voiceover?
How long voiceover? I want to say over 3 decades now.
Okay.
And it
Okay.
was an absolute accident. It was a complete accident. It was really hard for me to work on camera at that time in the 80s, or early 90s. It was, you're too light, you're too curvy, you're not this. And they didn't have a black dad and a white mom, or there was no one to pair me up with commercials. And then if you were a size 14 and up, you were character.
Yeah.
And then it was, well, she's too exotic to be character. I mean, the word exotic is no friend to me, I'll tell you that much, because that just meant we don't know what to do.
Yeah.
And
It can be good, but it can be bad.
it can also be, yeah, shut up, you don't know what you're saying. So, at my mom's agency, she was at Abrams, Rubloff, and Lawrence, and there was a voiceover department, and they needed some partner reads one day. So I was at the office, and I said, "Yeah, sure, I'll read with their partners." And I wound up booking 3 national network jobs. And I said, "I'm
So
done."
did the people you were reading with who didn't book the jobs, did they know that you're their reading partner?
Who knows?
Who
What I
knows?
know is that it worked, and I found my path. This didn't matter any longer. What mattered was my skill and my true love of the craft of acting. And I haven't stopped, and I never will.
You know what? Speaking of the true craft of acting, because that's really what we want to talk about here a lot. Um, when I was on your website, I saw this. Acting is something you do instead of isn't something you do. Instead of doing it, it occurs. If you're going to start with logic, you might as well give up. You can have conscious preparation, but you have unconscious results from acting teacher extraordinaire Lee Strasberg. Now, what does that mean to you? And I know it means something because you put it there.
Absolutely. I find that so much happens in the moment. And when you can truly focus and understand your character, be it commercial, animation, understand who you are talking to, understand the room, and then understand your truth. And if you are not feeling truth, substitute what you're talking about so you can find some truth. Then you can dig deep and do the work.
Yeah.
So that's what that means to me.
You know, when I saw that, I was like, ooh, lovely. One of the things I tell my students, especially when we're doing character work, is it's not about a perfect read. Sometimes I think we have the idea that a line is supposed to be said this particular way, and it's
I
because
know.
of television and movies, and our favorite actor said the line, and we've repeated it many times. But you go to the theater, and say you go to the same show 5 nights in a row, those lines are going to be said different ways each night. I always tell my students, look, it's not about finding the perfect read, it's about being the character in this particular moment. And the reads are going to come out different. But if they're in character, it's going to work. It's going to
Because
work.
the physical life always changes.
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
physical life always changes. You will never be able to, unless you're voice matching someone and you need to create that sound take after take after take. That's one thing. But even with voice matching, you really need to understand the person that you're voice matching.
Yeah.
You need
Now,
to you need to know their work and get it and get their essence and their spirit.
you are one of the most versatile voice actors that I know. Um, because I'm terrible at voice matching. Just
Mm.
terrible at. I can create characters, but they aren't the characters that sometimes they're asking for. Most of the time when my agent sends me something, can you voice match so and so and so and so, and everybody thinks, oh, you should make a great Obama or Denzel or blah blah. No, I wouldn't. Um, you also do anime, and you also do some dubbing. What's the difference for you in those three things as compared with when you get the character and you can just be that character?
That's good. So what was first? Was voice match first?
Uh,
First
Go in the
question.
order you want to go in.
Okay, so I'll start with voice matching. With voice matching, I'm also a singer, and I find that it's the notes in which the person I'm voice matching speaks in. So if it's a Viola Davis, it's going to start somewhere down in, and it's going to be quiet, and it's going to have a close proximity because it's going to be from her soul. I have voice matched from Halle Berry to Drew Barrymore and a million people in between, but it's knowing that opening note. When it's ADR, I'm sorry, when it's anime, you get to see what's going on and what's happening, but when you're dubbing anime, you're allowed to put a little bit of yourself into it. As long as you're making those mouth flaps, you're allowed to put a little bit of yourself
You
in.
say that like
When
that's easy, making those mouth flaps. Well, I do
it's
some anime, I do some dubbing. Um, Matching the mouth flaps is not easy.
Listen, I love me some voiceover karaoke. Like that's what's up. I'm with it. So I find with anime that's its own beast, its own there's its own way. And now I'm dubbing four different projects, and two or three of them are French, and it's a machine gun quickness. You got to get those words out, but it's the understanding of the character that I'm playing. And that's the other one. The other show is in Portuguese. So in the understanding of the scene, it doesn't matter what language it is. It's the
Is it
feeling.
Portuguese or Brazilian Portuguese?
Portuguese, Portuguese.
Oh, okay, because I'm in a Brazilian Portuguese show playing a cop, and I thought, now are we on that too together?
We might be. Um, so it's really understanding the character who you are portraying, and then seeing, when they show you that moment, that piece for those next seven lines, that batch, you have to really become that person. So you just happen to become the person while the lines are on a band in front of you,
Yeah,
you know?
I always tell my students it's a bit more of the technical, but also still the artist. You have to be the character, but now you've got some parameters that you.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. But you're also bringing there's such a difference between an animated dub and a live action dub. Anime dub, it could be a lot bigger. You can have a lot
Yes.
more room to move, but with when you're doing live action, you are you are toting a line. That is the line. You are on the line, and you are that character, and once you find it, which I'm very blessed to be able to find it. I'm a mimic. It's something I've always done. When my mother was producing theater in the 70s, if it was a musical, they would put me in the audience at their last dress and have me sing back what I heard. And if someone sang sharp or flat, I would sing back exactly what I heard. And they would say, okay, you were flat, you were sharp. So my voiceover career started long before I knew what
Long
voiceover
before
was.
you knew you were going to have a voiceover career. And
Yes.
I think that's true of most of us in this business. There are things that we did early in life, things we were influenced by that we weren't necessarily thinking about a career. I was kind of a theater kid too, not as much as you, but being black and growing up in Cleveland, my
Hmm.
parents sent me to Caribou House, which uh, was a place for the arts. So I painted, I did sculpture, I did modern dance, I played music, and I did theater. And I
Hmm.
enjoyed it all. And then I would go home and play football. And these
Well rounded.
things were just in me.
Hmm.
And clearly, They are in you. I want to say congratulations on all your nominations for the various awards you have been nominated for. Now, I know
Thank
you
you.
haven't taken home the trophy yet, but it is an honor just to be nominated. And
Absolutely.
you've also been a part of some projects that have won awards. I was congratulations on the anime award. Let's see what is part of the best anime corner and IGN for Cyberpunk Edge Runners.
Yes, yes. That was some fun stuff. We got roses for that. Thank you, thank you. Thank you to my
You
sister Wendy Lee. Big shout out to Wendy Lee
you've
there.
been a part of something I'm a little jealous of. When they started auditioning for Cuphead, that was something I really wanted. Didn't happen. But Cuphead is just a brilliant cartoon, and
It absolutely is.
you've been able to
I
play.
call some crazy stuff. I call Sarah Sherman my good voiceover juju. And I'll tell you, the roles that I did book in Cuphead were not roles that I auditioned for.
Ah,
It
well,
was, you know what,
and that's
let's have
trust
Malik do
because they
this.
knew you could do what they were going to ask you to do.
And
I'm
I done
sorry, you
did it.
can't take a drink while we're doing this because I'm going to ask you a question, or if you take a bite of something, I will get you to try to talk with your mouth full.
I will do it. I will do it. I'm committed. I'm absolutely committed.
Now, you've done a lot of work. As I mentioned in the promo today, I couldn't possibly uh, mention all the things you've done: video games, anime, commercials, just stuff and stuff and stuff and stuff and stuff. But um, one of your great loves now is coaching and developing
Mm.
new talent. And you have this thing called Berger Reels. Gee, I wonder where you got that name. Um, that you've been doing for 14 years, and
Yes.
you've never asked me to be a part of it.
Well, please be a part of it, Dave.
But tell me about Berger
Burgers
Reels.
Reels LA. Okay, Burgers Reels LA. I wanted to call it the Darch Ealing Tea Company when my mother, God rest her soul, Myra Berger, the icon, said, "You need to start your own thing." And I was like, "Oh, great, I want to call it the Darch Ealing Tea Company." And she was like, "But you don't sell tea." And I said, "So what do we do?" She said, "Burgers Reels." And I was already coaching with the casting director at that time, and there was just a lot of love, and it was time for me to give back to my community of actors because I have been coached by the best of the best, and I still have my coach. I have my mentors, Jeff Howell and Dave Walsh and Scott Parkin, and those are my people.
All good
Jeff
friends of
Howell
mine.
is there you go. Jeff Howell is who takes my temperature. Dave Walsh is who makes sure I don't jump, and Scott Parkin is there for a great joke. And I think that it was time for me to give back to my community of actors. So I wanted to find a way where we could just meet and do a workout group. So over my best friend's kitchen table 14 years ago, over fried chicken and some libations. I had a box of copy, and we just started reading copy, and that's how it started. That is how it started. And then it became voiceover poker night. It was just we were just going, and I was directing and redirecting and really really finding who I am as a director, and then starting to figure out how do I relay to my friends, my actors, how I'm booking so much? Because these are guys that were and gals that were just starting out,
Hmm.
you know, and we just kept working. We kept working the craft, and all of a sudden, it came to me, not quite 5 years ago. The Art of the Pivot was born,
Okay, and
and
you
yeah.
got my next question. Let's talk about the art of the pivot. Now, I have seen. Oh yeah. Art of the Pivot. We're excited about that. I have seen the Art of the Pivot with your name over and over and over and didn't know what it was until I went and looked at your site. And I kept thinking it had something to do with this emotion to this emotion to this emotion. But it has more to do with us as voice actors who have to do a variety of different kinds of auditions. Am I right?
Absolutely, absolutely. And it's you were great by saying keeping your sanity whilst doing it. Um, I'm a truth teller. That's what I do. Uh, Sometimes to my dismay, but mostly I say that to at least the people I coach, I'm hard and I'm going to give you the truth and the bruises will heal. You will thank me. So the art of the pivot is basically this. It is a tree of five. If Dave is the tree trunk, there's a way that you speak to your lover, your best friend, a family member, someone that you have authority over, and someone who has authority over you. Period. That's just how it is.
Yeah.
That is for animation, that is for commercial, that is for promo. In any different genre of voiceover, that is how simple it is. So maybe it's a commercial and you're a farmer talking about soybeans. Well, that same farmer with a maybe a little speech impediment or something else going on can now be on his own animated series about farming and telling bad dad jokes. It's one becomes one because becomes one, and from this tree you grow 10 and 15 and 20 and 30 and so on, different characters, and they all start with these five branches.
You know, it's interesting. Often I talk to actors when we talk about, who are you and who are you talking to?
Hmm.
And I've often mentioned almost your exact same words. How you talk to the person you love is different than you talk to your boss, is different than you talk to a stranger on the street, is different than you. And how we relate to people is based on whatever that relationship is. And I go so far as to say we have a relationship as actors with someone that perhaps we never talk to, the homeless guy we walk past, but we see and we think something. Um, so I just thought this was a piece of brilliance when I
Thank you.
read exactly what your idea about the art of the pivot. And we all have it in us. We all
Yes.
have a variety of relationships and how we talk to that. I'm trying to get a job, and I was wondering if you have an opening. And no, here's my
Right.
resume. And uh,
It's true, it's true, and then, and to add to that, it is the who, what, why, where, when, and how. It absolutely is that, but it goes beyond that. I like to, if I'm talking to Dave, if Dave is who I'm using to talk to, that how is married to how I speak to Dave Fennoy.
yeah, yeah,
You
which
know
is
what time
which
of
is
day it
with
is.
warmth and friendship and fun.
There you go. So
Yeah,
that's that character right there. And then interesting enough, with Art of the Pivot, that it's actually written out and it's something amazing. What I found out with my business partner and agent Portia Scott has method on the mic. And method on the mic is really from the technique point of view. How do you set it up? How do you set up the scene? How do you do the table work? And then together we have merged and we're sisters. Art of the Pivot goes with method on the mic. And I mean, at this time, we're moving on it and we've developed a wonderful curriculum for university, and we are in the stages now of trying to get it out there so you can leave a 4-year university. If you want to be a voiceover actor, you're leaving with the goods. If you wanted to be a dentist, you would go to dental school, you would do your residency, and boom, you're a dentist. What is out there at the university level for voiceover actors to
you know
leave
what?
and to be able to audition?
Actually, not a lot. I'm seeing a little bit. There have been a few schools of kind of asked me some things, nothing that I wanted to do yet.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, but yeah, we need
Yeah,
higher education for voice
absolutely.
acting. You know,
Absolutely.
I want to get some comments and questions here from people. If you have a question from Melique Berger, please now is the time to bring it on. Um, and heard from LC, by the way. She said, "Awesome, Malik. Big up, sis. Closets are for clothes and shoes. I'm an ally."
Amen. Amen. Thank you. Thank you.
There you go.
Oh,
And
and it was Tori's pleasure.
Donnie DeMarco, I love Spidey and his amazing friends. In case anyone missed it, it's Disney Juniors, Spidey and his amazing friends. Let's see. We're gonna get to some questions here, but there were some just nice comments. Malik, I'm here. Go, sister, go.
I have a feeling that that one might have been initials PS.
Uh, Mike, Mike Siporkin.
Oh, hi Mike. Hi brother
I was
Mike.
going to say you must not have seen his name there. I should have said it. Terry
Oh yeah,
Briscoe.
no, I don't see him.
Terry Briscoe with a comment. By the way, Terry will be my guest next week. Malik, what was the driving force for you to start casting, and do you find that as rewarding as doing voiceover work? Good question.
Very interesting. I do not do casting, so
You do
I
training
don't
though.
know how that.
I think
I do coaching,
yeah, you do coaching, and I think because you work
and
with Portia.
I'm a producer. Yeah,
Uh,
I'm a dem.
yeah, and by the way,
Yeah.
when I was going through the internet, combing it for information about you, I kept seeing things with you and Portia and the work that you are putting together, and that's just going to be very, very. No, I shouldn't say it's going to be. It is
It
very,
is.
very powerful,
Thank
and
you.
whoever whatever school takes you guys on is going to benefit greatly.
Thank
Comment
you.
from Grace Newton. I have perfect pitch too. It can be a blessing and a curse. I can imagine. I was a musician in another life, and I knew some guys with perfect pitch, which is one of the reasons I'm not doing music anymore. So I'm not as good at this as I wanted to be. Um, and yeah, they could hear everything. People that you play a chord and they can tell you the voicing. That's a little
Mm,
scary. Um, Mike has a comment here. He had said hello.
yes.
Um, I'm a proud beneficiary of Malik's coaching thanks to none other than Portia Scott's referral. Recording a promo demo this weekend together. Woo! Now, say, I didn't know you were also in the promo world.
I'm in the promo world. Yes, I'm in the promo world thanks to the rest of my team, which is DPN. I'm
Ah,
sorry, ACM. Excuse
ACM.
me,
Okay.
ACM. I was with DPM, ACM. Yes, Mark Gus and Jeffrey Umberger, Robin Starr, Melanie Thomas. They give me a beautiful bevy of auditions and shows, and I could not be more grateful to be with ACM. I think that between CTC and ACM, I stay very, very busy.
There you
Very busy.
One of my students, wow, a VO degree. I'd sign up. Do you think that'll ever happen?
I do.
Because
I
I
know
know
it won't.
there are degrees in performing arts from some very fine universities. Um, that would be interesting. That would be interesting. Grace Newton again. Is there a good method for keeping your emotions in check when dealing with copy you're especially close to?
What a beautiful question. I don't believe you need to keep your emotions in check. I believe that you need to be honest. And if something makes your throat itch and you feel that a tear is rolling down your eye, let it happen. Let it breathe. Let it come out. Process it. There's nothing wrong with processing copy that is emotional. I
Yeah,
I say yes.
I think sometimes people who find a piece of copy that's emotional and makes their voice crack a little bit, or makes the read a little stilted in some way, I think that's a bad thing. Um, but I actually believe that it's a good thing, that what we really want is to feel your thoughts and your feelings. I have often said in my classes, if you have to choose between showing me your emotion and your enunciation, I'll take the emotion every time.
Every time. Every
Yeah.
time. And
So
I wanna just add one more thing with that. Those words were written to evoke emotion, whatever the words were. And if you're actually feeling it, that's the truth.
yeah.
That's the meat.
All right, let's see. Brad Carrot Studios. A curriculum focusing especially on voice acting would be amazing. There's so many different sources, it can get overwhelming. Uh, there are so many areas of voiceover now, and they continue to grow. Um, yeah, that would be a good idea. Let's see. Landon Bradford. How important is it to have original demos?
Landon Bradford. I would like to talk about Landon Bradford, who has been my staff writer for probably a decade now. All of the demos I do with Landon. I speak with the actor. We really work out what they're into, what they're about, if it's a commercial demo, what products they are actually using, if it is animation, what are the five characters they really are passionate about, and then Landon and I sit down and meet. We talk about the actor, and Landon comes up with beautiful copy. And from that point, I bring the copy back to the client. And if there's things we want to tweak or change, we're very open to that. And we wind up with the most truthful demos. I'll tell you a story. Years ago, I did a demo for someone, and it was pre-Landon days, and that's why Landon is my baby. And the client took the demo to their agent and said, I don't know if this is it. And I called Bob Bergen and I said, Bob, this is an amazing demo. And I played it for him. And he said, and I quote, Malik, you make the most contemporary demos that there are right now. So you don't worry about one thumbs down. And he kept me going because the wind truly came out of my sails as a young director and a young producer. I was like, someone didn't like it. All right. So, and move on.
Well,
And we've been
there's
very
always
fortunate.
that's the nature of the biz. Somebody is not going to like it, even if everybody else does.
There you go.
But I want to talk about so often people who do demos. Nobody that I would recommend, but people who do demos often um, they find out a little bit about who you are and what your voice print is, and then they go off and write some copy and give it to you. I like what you said. It's how I try to work as well. I want to know really who you are. What is your voice print? Since I only do video game demos, I want to know if you are a gamer, what kind of characters do you feel like you can play? And
There you
if
go.
um, what are you drawn to? I want to get to know you as an actor so that the writing matches who you are, and we can get the best of you as the character actor that you are.
Dave, I spend 6 to 8 weeks with demo people. We make babies. You know, when we get the words from Landon, that email is fresh out the oven, and then we take it from there. And I know a lot of people don't, and that's the way they might do them. But I would much rather an actor walk into, I work at a Float Studios with Roy Halo in Tarzana. Roy is like a brother to me, and I want them to walk into that studio, or even if we're doing it via Source Connect or something like that, and just know that they're safe and that I only want the best. I only want the best for them because I have been so blessed
That
in
you
this
just brought up
business.
something that was an issue. Uh, Working through Source Connect doing demos. Uh, Sometimes somebody has Source Connect, they've got a home studio, but their home studio isn't
Yeah.
where it should be. How do you deal with that?
We vet other studios. If you're an out of town client, we will vet a studio for you. We will do a sound check with that studio and make sure that that studio is up to par before we even get you there. I even have clients that fly out to me, from wherever they live, just so they can record with me in the flesh, which I think is super cool. I love
It's super
that.
cool, and some might say expensive, but I'm going to say the money you spend on the right demo is money well spent. Um, One or two
Thank you.
jobs, it's paid for, and
Paid
it will
for.
open doors for you that a mediocre, not so good, or even poor demo that you put together yourself and saved all that money on won't do. So,
But it will follow you through your
yes,
career.
yes.
One bad demo, that's
And
it.
people talk, it's interesting, and people talk about two things: the really good people and the really bad people. So if you've got a really bad demo, I promise you, this agent is talking to that agent and talking to that casting director about that horrible demo they got. Hopefully, they don't mention your name. It just becomes a story. Um,
Mhm.
but I have been in sessions where I heard about auditions, even that were
Mm.
Frankenstein together, demos that were Frankenstein together that make you think this person had the talent and the skill, and then when they got hired, they couldn't deliver. And you got to be able to.
It's it's so funny you say that because when my mom was an agent, she would get these, great headshots, da da da. She'd set up the 10 meetings for the week. She'd look at the picture and the person would walk into the office and she'd be like, this is not you. Th- Who is this? This is Ray the retoucher. And it was all, this is Ray the retoucher. Come back and talk to me when you get a picture that actually looks like you.
Oh,
Same thing with this.
yeah.
Same thing with this, don't have some overproduced demo that turns you into God only knows who. And then you walk in and you do an audition or you book a job off that demo. And you're right, you walk in and you can't produce.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
That's not the best.
All right, let's see. Mr. J. Horace Black. Hey, Dave and Malik. Really enjoy your essence, positivity. Could you speak to the art of the pivot? Is this an ongoing workout group, or is this something that you place clients in once they've coached with you a few times?
It's something I place clients in once I've coached them a few times. I want to get to know you. I want to know your fit. It's a great room. And the old rule was if you put a marker down for another actor and that actor didn't fit, you were gone. So now what I like to, and that was real. That was real. So what
That's
I
a
like
tough
to do is,
room.
that's a real tough room. What I like to do is I like to get to know you. I like to vibe with you and see what's up, and then I make my decision.
Wow. Well, you're a hard case. Let's
Hey,
see. Grace Newton again. What other people think of me is none of my business. That's an
yes.
old quote, but it's a good quote. Often we are so concerned about, oh, what do people think about me, that's where we're living, and don't rent that space in your head to those people.
No, it's interesting that you say that because I also deal with the psychological voiceover. It's a pro and a con list. You get the audition, it's reoccurring, it's a lead, it's this, and it's for this network. Some actors will just see that. And then here comes the con list, the pro list. Okay, all those things, but then a con list comes in and it's imposter syndrome. How can I do enough? I want them to like me. What more can I do? Should I? What you want to do is merge that con list into the pros. Be grateful that you even got the opportunity, and then do your very best to speak the truth. The truth is heard. Microphones don't lie. They are a lie detector. Hungry, thirsty, heartbroken, they're a lie detector. So get out. The psychological voiceover will come and get you. I'm telling you, it fires me all the time. Fires me all.
Well,
I haven't even
and
got the job, but it fires me.
and I'm glad you said that, because you're speaking a great truth about even those of us who work all the time still have to fight these demons.
It's
Um,
true.
and I always say, well, the thing you want to be is believable as the character. And that is what your focus is. That is what your intention is. When you start adding, I want to be different than everybody else. I'm intending to be this. I'm intending to be this other thing. Uh, I intend to get the job. Great. But those are byproducts
Yeah.
of being the character and delivering believable performances.
That's where trusting your representation should come to the forefront. If you are given the opportunity to audition for something, be it from your manager, be it from your agent, just know they procure work for you. It is of everyone's best interest to get you auditions for things you are right for. So if you're trying to play the game, oh, I think it should sound like this, you've lost. You've lost. If you're not telling me the truth, if I'm not speaking the truth, there's an issue, and I have to take a beat. I have to take a beat and go, hold on a minute, Malik. This is not a performance. This is just who you are. And this is the character's background. Now let's figure it out.
There you go. From Theo Mezzacapo, what about building your performance for a piece of copy that you're having a difficult time connecting with without going too far off what the specs asked for?
Very nice. I think that you would have to substitute what you are talking about and really know who you're talking to. So if you're talking about, if the audition is for uh, a dirty, greasy mechanic and you don't know anything about cars, well, I bet there's something you do know something about. And I bet there was a time in your life when you rolled in the mud. So go on back there and mold the two together. And sure enough, you're going to find that greasy mechanic.
Just careful when you shake hands with him and you get something on your fingers. Let's
Please.
see. Oh, here's your boy Mike Siporkin again. Hey, Malik, could you speak to your views on doing voiceover remotely versus the need to live in LA, New York, etc.?
I think that you can do voiceover anywhere now. I
Yeah.
think the world is open. It doesn't matter. I find that you might have less opportunity for dubbing that might be happening in LA. I know that the jobs that I do, they usually like you here. But as far as commercial and animation, feature, you can pretty much be anywhere in the world. And I was talking to someone about that recently, and it really doesn't matter. You're talking about a time difference, you know? And yeah, I personally don't think it's an
Technology
issue.
has changed our world. There was a time not so many years ago where you really did need to be in LA to get certain kinds
Yeah,
of work. And we probably have the widest variety of voiceover work here. Uh, but you can live any a Mac, a microphone, and a high-speed internet connection, along with a little talent and skill. And you can do this from anywhere. Hey, I think you know
absolutely.
this person. Ladies and gentlemen, Portia Scott. Get it, big love, Melique Berger.
I love you. I
And
love
is
you for it.
is at Malik Berger, that is your Twitter or X or
At
whatever?
Malik Berger, yeah, or X. At Malik Berger is my Twitter. My websites are all over the place, and yeah, you can find me.
You know what? It's easy to find people who want to be found now. I know for me, you look up Dave Fennoy. I'm there. So Melique Berger, if you are someone who thinks you're bad enough to
Mm,
join her crew at Berger
mm,
Reels, you think you got
mm.
you got what it takes to be there.
What you got? What
What
you
you
got?
got? Hey, let me show me what you got.
Show me
Uh,
what you got. Let's get down.
she's
Let's
easy
get
to
down.
find, and Berger Reels is online as well. But as you said, you know what? They get one shot.
You get one, baby.
You get one shot. And not
But
only
you
do you
know
need
what?
to be
You get,
good, she's gotta like you.
and I'll tell you, I've got a very big heart, and I love what I do. So I
Oh,
liking is not the problem. Liking is not the problem.
all right. No, you
But
do have a
come
big
to me
heart.
with some chops. Come
And
to me with some chops.
you're like me. There's probably very few people that you have a dislike for.
I
I
I,
worry about some
I
people.
just wasn't. I do. I pray extra hard for some people, but no, I'm this free loving Aquarius that
What's your birthday?
that's I just 2770.
Oh, okay. You're a late Aquarius. I'm right on the cusp. January 20th. I'm
Oh,
a
okay. There you
Capricorn.
go.
Yeah.
Capricornian. There you go. Well,
Yeah,
so
I got
that's why you see.
one foot on the ground and my head in the cloud.
The clouds. Yes. Yes. But
Uh,
yeah, Dave, I'm easy to find.
oh
I'm
yeah.
easy to find.
Oh yeah.
Just
My
say
guest
hi.
next week, Terry Briscoe, who always has great questions. Has another one. How much does improv on animation auditions separate you from the crowd?
Oh, I'd like to talk about that. I think that you don't want to add a whole extra script to the script. I'm very into nonverbal efforts. I think that you get a lot more from a nonverbal effort than adding a word. I don't mind if I do something where if the word is no, and if something crazy is happening in the scene, I might triple that word. No, 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 no. But most of the time, you're going to get a nonverbal effort from me, and I think unless the audition says improv a must, and you get one straight take that is just what they want, then you get an alt where you could just lose it. I say go for gold.
Yeah, and
Go
if
for
they hire
gold.
you
But
because of the improv, ask for a writer's credit. Oh, that's
there you
right.
go.
Writers are
And
on
it's
strike now.
writers are on strike now. We can't do that. But I also remember, the rule is add, not subtract.
Yes.
So always remember that. Add, not subtract. So
All
that's
right.
my word on
Brad
that.
Carrot Studios again. Any advice on applying to an agency? It seems many agencies make it impossible to contact them without knowing someone who works there. Eyes purple crying. You
Eyes
know,
purple crying. Oh, don't be purple cry.
so
Um,
getting an agent, it's not the easiest thing in the world because a lot of people knocking on the doors. What are your thoughts?
my thoughts about getting an agent is that it's nice to have some credits under your belt. It's especially nice to be training with people that are in the know. And I think that training with people that are working is just as good to put on your resume as jobs you've done. I know that if you're training with Dave, if you're training with myself, if you're training with Tina Marasco, I could go on and on and on and on. They've seen you, they know you, so at least the agent then knows that you're doing your due diligence to try and get in you know so make that a hobby. Meet casting directors, go to conventions and conferences. I know that One Voice Dallas is coming up in August. The Sovas will be here in December. Get to meet people, and that's you want to network, you want to get to meet your community, and that's how that happens.
Yeah, yeah, and you really need to be very good. Your demo is going to be going up against. I wouldn't say necessarily my demo or people in my position, but you're going up against these people who are working all the time. So your demo has to be very, very, very competitive. It has to really reflect you, and it really needs to reflect what you can do. The last thing in the world you want is a great sounding demo, but when that agent calls you in, they're going to hand you some copy, and they're going to, what can you do with it? And if you can't deliver, bye bye. And they're going to
Yeah.
remember that. They're going to
Right.
remember that.
Absolutely. And I know that a specific agent that I know very, very well, there's a pre to the meeting. There is copy that's given, that is recorded, that's sent in. And if you pass that level, then you're brought in. Then you have to read again.
Yeah.
So it's not like, oh, come on in. The water's warm. It's really not that.
Yeah.
Study your craft. Study your craft, and that's how you get it.
This is a very competitive business, and I promise you, it is not about what your voice sounds like. I can't tell you how many people I've met with beautiful, mellifluous voices, but they could not act. And the people who have been told, we like your voice, you should do voiceover, are probably the people who are going to have the toughest time, because now they're listening to their voice. They're trying to find that beautiful place in their voice, and what they want to find is that character inside them.
It's true. It's absolutely true. Because you'll hear from casting directors all the time, make my job easy. I want to hire you. I want to fight for you. Just give them what they need to fight with. And of course, yes, having an agent is terrific. That helps.
Malik, we
That
have
helps.
we have hit our 7 o'clock hour. Is there anything on your mind that we haven't covered that you would like to just share with our audience?
I would like to, and I actually wrote it down because it's a quote that I love. It's from Nietzsche, and it says, "He who has the why to live can bear almost any how." And when you're working with the who, what, why, where, and how, this was written a very long time ago and is still real today. So he who has the why will always have the how. And that's what I leave you with. Art of the pivot.
You know what? The real truths have always been true. Doesn't matter how old they are. Doesn't matter. My friend Melique Berger, it has been a pleasure, darling. And love you madly. Best to the family. It was nice before we got on. Your son came in and said hello, and it's nice to know that he's a fan.
He's a fan.
He should be fanning out on his mama.
And he actually did today, and I was a little stoked. Yeah. But in closing, yes, Dave Fennoy got the boys through strep throat many, many years ago by playing the character Lee. And we thank you for that, Dave, because it made the house much, much quieter. And they really did stay in their beds for 10 days.
Oh, boy.
Until they were, they were in that bed. And there you were. So thank you for babysitting. Thank you for babysitting. Thank you for
even
being
though I
there.
didn't know I did.
I didn't know what you did, but thank you. And Julian and Jackson, thank you.
All right.
And
well,
I love you.
I love you back, and I'm sure I'm going to see you before too long. And you probably will talk to Portia before I do. Tell her I said hello.
I sure will.
And thank you so much for this. One of the best things about doing this is not only do I get to hang out with friends of mine from time to time, introduce an audience to information, but I get to learn something too. So thank you. The art.
Would you look at that?
Yeah.
The art of the pivot. Let's rock it.
All right. Well, Melique Berger, thank you so much. And
thank you.
Saying goodbye, but I want to remind everybody that this Ask Dave Fennoy Anything with Melique Berger, along with all the other Ask Dave Fennoy Anythings, live on my YouTube channel, Dave Fennoy Voiceover Training. Once again, if you are interested in coaching with me, davefennoy.com, click on the Study VO tab at the top. And I will see you next week when Terry Briscoe will be my guest. In the meantime and in between time, book something.